Hey everybody, welcome to Vegans Talking Shit. I'm Joey.
I'm John.
I'm Vanessa.
Today's topic is ethical vegans versus health vegans.
Oh my God. Such a interesting topic.
It'll be hard to beat the crocheting episode.
Oh, geez.
I agree. Totally.
Actually, that episode, as we're recording this, we have yet to post the crocheting episode. However, I have listened to the episode. I have yet to fully edit the episode, but I can tell you it is going to be the best one.
Cool.
Yay.
It is also the one that should not be listened to by children.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Jeez, I don't remember what you said. So bad.
Well, I mean, by the time this episode comes out, that episode will have already come out. So people are like, why are they talking about this? I already heard it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So what's this episode about again?
Today's episode is about, ethical vegans versus health vegans.
Ah, okay.
And there is some kind of controversy about that because ethical vegans are pretty, they eat plant-based, but on top of that, they don't wear leather, they don't wear fur, they typically don't buy products that have been tested on animals. It's not limited to eating plant-based, whereas health vegans, it's all about what they eat. They may wear leather, they may wear fur. As we've experienced in our own group, they might not really give a shit about animals. It's more about what they perceive to be the health benefits of being vegan. John, do you have anything to say about that? Because I know you began as a health vegan.
Yeah. I think most people, whether they begin as a health vegan or an ethical vegan, because I think I started as a health vegan. I know my wife, Vanessa, started as a ethical vegan. But I think if they start as a health vegan, a lot of them end up going towards the ethical side too, as well. They kind of add that, which I did. I just think it's, I don't know. I think it's easier to see it on the health side in the beginning, probably because, the world pulls this sheet over our eyes on the ethical side. Like we don't see it. I mean, we've talked about this on previous episodes, like Chick-fil-A, like you're driving down the highway and you see the billboard and the cows are having fun and you don't see animals as animals, you see them as food. So me started off as a health vegan, slowly as I kind of got into it and I watched documentaries and I was with more vegans and then started meeting ethical vegans. I'm like, oh wow, this is why a lot of these people stay vegans, because it's just horrible what is happening to animals around the world. And
as you moved on to being an ethical vegan, how did you feel about health vegans?
I don't think people just stay as health vegans, or I think a lot of them.
They do.
I think a lot of them though will then relapse. I think it's just hard not to. If you're vegan for a long time, I think the ethics start coming in at some point.
Well, it's hard to avoid the influence. If you're vegan and you are going to have vegan peers, some of them are probably going to be ethical vegans and they may start to, influence you as a health vegan. They might say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't wear leather to this vegan restaurant. Or I remember hearing a story about Beyonce once going to a vegan restaurant wearing a fur coat. That's probably not a good idea. So I think that there is a difference between the types of vegans, and I think that there is some hostility between the two.
Would you consider yourself a health vegan or an ethical vegan?
Me? Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah, but you love it.
Ethical, of course.
I mean, you've
He's not
seen what I
health
eat.
at all.
You've seen the food I eat, dude.
true.
I am clearly not a health vegan.
But, and that's why I asked, like sometimes it's hard to, you're not one or the other sometimes. You're a ethical vegan, but you're not an activist. There are activists that would tell you you're not an ethical vegan. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I'd tell them to go to hell.
No, I don't think they would say you're not an ethical vegan. They would say just you're not an activist and don't do as much as you could for animals. I think this is what they would say.
Yeah, I think
Because,
that's the third
yeah.
set. You know, you have the health vegans, and you have the ethical vegans, and then you have the next level, which is the activists.
And honestly, I really appreciate the work that the most that activist does. I wish I'm more there. I think being vegan is already good enough. Doesn't matter if it's health, if it's ethical or whatever.
It's all
As
about
long as you're
saving
not
animals.
eating animals, is great. Keep doing. But also, many people never saw what happens with the animals in the industry. Sometimes is they need to know, they need to see it, and this kind of activism that just show, no, not the ones that really get inside the restaurant screaming. This I think is too much, but I think it being like showing to people, to when you see something is you cannot say that when you see you cannot unsee.
When you see something,
Yeah.
say something.
John, this is the airport stuff. All the time say this here in the house. If you see something, say something. But you understand what I'm saying? So I really appreciate the work that any activist does. You don't need screaming people.
Even the shock activists, it works for
No,
some
I
people.
disagree.
Well, I think it works sometimes.
For whom? I mean, I always use this as an example. If you have a bunch of activists who walk into Chick-fil-A and just scream at people for eating chicken, do you really think any of those people will be like, well, gee, I wasn't thinking about that. Maybe I'll stop eating Chick-fil-A. No,
So-
they're just pissing those people off.
Okay, so what about the activists that wear the TV screens around the ones with the TVs?
The
around their neck?
voiceless.
Anonymous for the
Yeah.
voiceless.
Yeah, that same group, though, if I remember correctly, they did the microphones too, right? Where they're doing the march.
Well, they do others too. They go inside stores.
Yeah, they go
I've seen-
inside stores and
They go.
some of their stuff is passive, some of their stuff is active. To be honest, I'm fine with all of it. I am completely fine with all of it. I'm not going to go, probably myself, into Fogo de Chão, the Brazilian steakhouse, and throw blood everywhere, and do that. But I'm okay with people that do it.
Why? Do you really think that's solving the problem?
I
No.
think it helps a
Yeah,
little bit.
I know that some part can be hard, but sometimes it's the way that they can take the attention of people that they need. Like, for example, I saw not so long ago, they going to the Max Mara design is stylish. I don't know, the guy that draw the clothes or whatever, Max Mara.
So it's a designer, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the last luxury brands that's still using fur. And honestly, I would be in front of his house with all that people screaming on that. And you keep screaming here every single day until we stop, like raising animals just to take the fur.
Do you know what would happen if you did that, though?
Well, look like that and work it.
Joey might kick you off the podcast.
He not. He knows that we're kind of like hardcore, but
But I
it's
think
not
that's
about
different,
that.
though,
I think
because you're protesting not necessarily the person, you're protesting the company. But that's not a civilian. Like if you're going into Chick-fil-A, those are civilians. You're not.
yeah, I understand.
It's a very different thing. If you're protesting this famous designer who's a millionaire who's killing animals as a business.
Yeah.
That's a completely different thing from someone who's trying to enjoy a meal with their families. You get what I'm
Well,
saying?
they're doing it at the restaurant or the store. They're protesting Chick-fil-A. They're
Yeah.
protesting Fogo de Chão.
no.
They're protesting the Max Mara or whatever.
No,
Well,
they
they go
they're
inside.
literally going into Chick-fil-A, going into the faces of these people who are eating. I've seen the video, and they are literally yelling at people who are sitting there with their families. Like, okay,
That I maybe not agree with, but doing it and not going after the people that are sitting there with their
But
kids.
I have
like,
to tell you something, guys, that I never thought about it before. But if I'm inside a restaurant in the past, I'm trying thinking my time eating meat, and someone show up inside the restaurant with that footage that they have.
You would think about
Oh
it.
my God.
Yeah.
That would be killing me. That would be like, oh my God. Honestly, because I never had this experience to see it. Or I have a friend that she was kind of like a vegetarian for a while, but she never spoke about it. She never tried to show me. She used to say, oh, I saw a documentary. But, now I wish she was like close enough from me to really insist to me, you should watch, you love animals, you should watch. She never did. And right now, for me, it was enough see once, I don't need to see more, my
Did
values.
you sit through Earthlings?
I could not finish.
I couldn't finish it.
We started crying.
Yeah.
And for me, that like, oh my God, how people cannot have compassion about all these animals was pretty hard. That one pretty hard. We stopped in the beginning when the dog when you oh my God.
See, the thing is like that.
The dog,
Yeah,
that's-
that was one of the worst parts.
And
like,
we
we stopped almost
there.
The crazy
Right
thing
up.
with that dog one, and no one who hasn't seen the movie will know what we're talking about, but it doesn't show violence.
No.
It's the happy face on the dog and knowing what's coming.
right.
I cannot say it right now because I can't start crying.
Oh.
Because it was so powerful.
Yeah.
And every single one, you see the same, cute eyes, and like we should be protecting them. So that's why I don't know, Joy, if I'm inside the restaurant and someone show up, not screaming like for me, you're stupid or whatever, but the way that sometimes they do that, they just come inside and show the TVs and would you take my attention? And I'm an animal lover, always were. Maybe it would work.
Everyone's on their different path. That person coming into the restaurant, if there's 20 people in the restaurant, maybe
At least one.
maybe
is going to
15
say.
of them don't give a shit, but there's 5 of them that are like, oh my God, that's horrible, and I can't believe I'm eating a chicken right now. And then out of those 5, maybe 3 of them later on say, oh well, whatever, I don't care, how am I going to stop eating chicken? I do it every day. But then there's maybe 2 that are like, that always think about it and then stop. Joey, it happened with me. You're giving me the face like, that's not going to happen. But it happened with me. I saw Game Changers and I'm like, something clicked.
But that was you watching. You went to watch. It's very different.
But
That was health, and he had no idea what was going on.
I had no
Right.
idea. But when we're on the street, and I did one of these activists before. I had the TV around my neck.
And for the
I
record,
saw-
I like that. The
And I
Anonymous
saw
for the
people
Voiceless, I
stop.
like that TV thing because it's kind of chilling. You see these people dressed in the Guy Fawkes mask, and they have the TV. It's just a very striking image. It gets you to stop, gets you to look. If you choose to not look, that's fine. But I dig that. I just don't like confrontation in a very aggressive way. If a guy is there, if it's just a guy with his 2 daughters, his initial impulse is not, gee, I should probably not eat this. No, I'm going to defend my daughters. I want to protect them from these maniacs who are coming in yelling at people,
Yeah, but what you're describing, I've never ever seen, and I've watched it. Hold on.
I'm going to send you the video.
I've watched a lot of documentaries, and Joey Carbstrong, who I always bring up, okay, he gets in confrontations sometimes, but those confrontations that he gets in are with hardcore meat eaters that want to confront him and want to fight about why
He's very
it's
patient, to be
okay
honest.
to eat meat with every meal, and you're supposed to eat meat and this and that, and vegans.
Has he ever
are
been on
idiots.
Joe Rogan's show?
No, but he was on Pierce Morgan.
Oh, Jesus, that's almost as
Yeah,
bad.
that got a lot of.
It's worse, I think.
Yeah, Pierce Morgan's.
Yeah, it's worse.
I like him though. I don't.
But-
whatever.
Well, but Joe Rogan is like aggressively anti-vegan, though. So I don't know if Piers Morgan is, but Joe Rogan sets out to like piss off vegans. So someone like Joey Carbstrong going on Joe Rogan's show, I'd probably watch that. That could be interesting. 2 alpha males going at it, and
He's
with
not-
opposing viewpoints.
He's not like an alpha male
He's
like
not.
that.
Yeah. I don't. You don't watch.
His
him
name
enough.
is
Yeah.
Joey Carbstrong.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
It is a good name. I
No,
doubt
he
it's real. but-
He changed his last name.
Even like I've seen. There's a girl in Australia who dresses very
Yes.
provocative.
Provocatively?
Provocatively. I don't remember her
vegan.
name.
Provocatively. Adverb.
She's like half naked. She's a vegan activist, and she went into a restaurant, kind of describing what you were describing, with a bunch of other activists, and they protested. It was at a steak place, and with blood all over their clothes or fake blood, and big picket signs. Now I didn't see them get into the faces of the people that were eating there. It was more than just screaming and shock. And now if people did confront them, they might have kind of confronted them back, but
of course they're going to confront
they
them.
deserve that restaurant deserve, and if I was there, you'd be there because
No,
the guy say that vegan was not welcome and he would not prepare any different dish for vegan. I would be there with blood in my whole body, with the screaming of the pigs, and I would be there with them. Pigs. Watch out with your head. They're going to hit you, my beautiful cow frame. So. I think some people learn with love. Some people learn getting beat.
Yeah, so. It depends. Right. It depends on the person. It depends on the time of your life.
As long as you do something for animals, go do it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter. As long as you're not actually physically hurting them,
I think we're pissing off a lot of the non-vegan listeners.
Who gives a shit?
I do.
They need to know. They need to know what they're doing.
What happens? Yeah,
I didn't know. No one told me this stuff. Like Vanessa was just describing, her friend that was vegetarian didn't tell her.
I think that's the minority. I think most people either don't want to know or they do know and don't care.
No, they don't want to know.
Yeah, we don't know to know. We know that they die. But in your mind, it's it's really fast. They live a beautiful life. And in the day, it's really, really quick. It's just a thing in their head they don't feel.
But see, a lot of them know now. And it's not that they don't care, because a lot of them are good people. When I think about my friends and family that all eat meat and eat animal products, they're a lot more, for the most part, they're all really good people. But 99% of the world eats meat and animal products, so they're going to do it. So for them, it's just they just don't think about it. And for them not to think about it makes it okay. I don't know why, but I was like that too 5 years ago, right? I didn't think about it, so it made it okay.
Yeah. Not sure where you're going with that, though.
It's not okay. It's not okay, but that is what came into my mind. I didn't think about it. I'm just you know what? I'm not going to watch it. Yeah. I'm not going to watch the videos. But it's 5 years later now. These videos are out there. Now there's a vegan talking shit podcast. Now there's, there's vegan festivals. There's a lot more vegan restaurants.
Few weeks ago, I saw someone posting something guys, keep it sharing, because I saw a video of a cow being killed in a random Instagram, and I stopped eating meat. So keep sharing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if you can speak for the animals, go do it. I really appreciate everybody that is brave enough to go out there, to give your time, to save animals. Because doesn't matter. Divina one day says something really.
Who's Divina?
Divina is the Q's friend that is very activist.
Oh, yeah.
She says something one day for me that kind of touched me, because she say that every single time she's kind of don't want to go, or it's tired, is lazy one day or whatever. She thinks every day that I don't go out there, maybe it's one less vegan and more animals dead. So they love animals and they fight for it. If the animals doesn't have voice, they do, and they is loud. I don't know. I really respect any of them. Doesn't matter the way that they do, if I agree or not. They are doing something. Some people are just sitting and not eating, sitting and see, oh yeah, or criticizing, or just oh, it's cool, but nobody do anything. I don't do anything. I wish I can
do a lot. We have this podcast. That's something you do a lot. Just talking about it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of, you could do more. I could do more. Even Joey Carbachon could do more, right? They could all. Joaquin Phoenix could do more. He did not need to get on that horse in
Napoleon.
In Napoleon. Thank you, Joey.
You're welcome. Directed by Ridley Scott.
We are too serious. We are too serious now. You have to break the ice, guys.
Who knows? This could be our best episode ever.
I don't know, because we started screaming. Everybody started getting nervous. Like, oh no, let's do something for the animals.
Listen to us, please.
Haters, you can go hate me. That's fine. It's helping.
So you can tell by our voices that it's passionate for us, and it wasn't for me 5 years ago. I just wanted to live a lot longer, and
like it's
now
300
it's
years.
Really.
How many years do you want to
ethical.
live, John?
I don't ever want to die.
Yeah, he
I
wants.
want to be like that guy that I want to freeze my body.
Cryogenics.
Cryogenics, yeah.
Oh God.
Like Ted Williams.
Well, yeah, I have to. If you don't want to never die, I have to start chanting the.
You know, the Walt Disney thing is untrue.
What's that?
There's that rumor that Walt Disney is also cryogenically frozen, but it's not true. The Ted Williams thing, I believe, is true.
I think that Ted Williams is true.
Yeah. But what's really crazy is that there is a cheaper version, because the more expensive version is they freeze the body. The cheaper version is they freeze just the brain. So there are some facilities in the United States that have a whole bunch of frozen, decapitated heads.
I think there's one in Fort Lauderdale.
Really?
Oh my
I've
God,
seen
guys!
that,
I never heard about that. These guys are.
Do you know what it's about? Like what the deal is?
I can understand. They can serve. What's the name? Bring you back at some point.
Yeah.
So can you imagine if you die in the year 2030 and then in the year 3079, you somehow wake up
Amazing.
and it's a completely different world. Your entire family tree pretty much is dead. So what happens after you wake up?
I prefer reincarnation.
I don't know, but no one's going to be eating meat in 3079. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Actually, I have a great question for you.
Go ahead.
What do you think of lab-grown meat?
I'm okay with it.
So let's say in 20 years, it's now commonplace. No more cows are being killed. No more pigs are being killed. Instead, you can go to your local grocery store, buy some fried chicken, and it's not fake meat. It is meat. It is fried chicken, but no chicken was killed to make it.
So what's wrong with it?
That's what I'm going to ask you. Would you still be vegan? Like, would you be willing to eat that?
I think you'd still be vegan because it doesn't really involve animals being.
Well, I mean, I'm not
killed.
talking about the terminology. I mean, would you still choose to not eat meat, or would you be like, all right, since no animals were killed for this chicken, I will now eat this chicken?
That's an interesting question.
I
Yeah.
would not.
Because
I know Joey would.
I would.
Yeah.
But you guys actually don't like the taste of meat anymore. Whereas
Well, I haven't had it for
I'm
5 years.
I haven't had it for 12. I have a feeling if I were to eat meat, even though I do like the taste, or I did, I mean, 12 years ago I did, but I have a feeling that even though from what I remember, I love the taste, if I were to eat it today, since I haven't had it for so long, I'd probably react badly. But I definitely want to try it.
I don't know. I mean, Impossible patties are pretty similar to me than what burgers used to
Well-
be. And
Yeah.
I think if I had a burger right now, unfortunately, I might like it. I don't know. I'm never going to do it.
No,
Right.
I don't think. I always love it meat too. Right now, I feel a little bit disgusted because I make all this connection about the blood and it's a piece of meat. It's a piece of my arm. If I ate a piece of my arm, it'd be the same shit. But I think I would not because I feel better in so many other sense. And I remember when we started transition, 3 weeks, I think, after we kind of like started, I was in the beginning going slow. John was like everything or nothing. And I was probably like 3 weeks without eating any meat. And I went to Brazil and my mom made a pie that I used to eat when I was a kid. And I couldn't resist that. And I got a piece of that and I ate. And it was so interesting because before, I didn't feel the process change to a vegetarian or vegan. I didn't feel like nothing in my body. Oh, I feel more energetic. No, in the beginning I was feeling a lot of hungry. A lot hungry. I was getting up in the middle of the night to eat. But after, when I ate that piece of pie with the meat, I feel so heavy. And like heavy. And I was like, oh, that's why Like really, the opposite I felt. Like, I don't know, I didn't keep eating after that. So that was my last meat I have ever had since then. So, but it's interesting. And right now I just feel disgusted when I see.
You know when the last piece of meat I had was?
I know, John. Chicken kebab.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so
We
hiding for me.
We were in Brazil. How long ago was that?
I don't know.
I guess I did cheat. Yeah, I cheated a couple years ago.
4 years, three
3 years
and a
ago,
half,
I cheated.
3.5.
We were at a buffet, and this beautiful buffet, and so much food. And I saw this like shish kebab, like chicken kebab. Was it chicken kebab or
I
beef
don't
kebab?
know.
I don't know.
I even didn't look. So
I'm such just a terrible person. I grabbed it and literally went to the bathroom and ate it real quick.
What?
There's
an image.
I had a moment of relapse. And
So was that shame? Is that why you took it into the bathroom?
yeah, because I didn't want to show her because I hadn't ate meat in, a year and a half or something.
Vanessa,
at that point.
did you know when
I
he
told
did it?
I told her later, months later.
Okay.
And that was the last time.
and I had to hold my breath really deep. And like, do you want to run right now or do you want to be seated here? So I didn't say
didn't really
much.
care that
I don't like that he lied. He didn't need to hide this from me because sometimes I think people think that I forced John be a vegan. I have heard so many little comments here and there from family, friends, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't, if he decided not being vegan tomorrow, he's going to cook for himself. I'm not going to cook for himself, but I'm not going to,
When I go to lunch with my
Kill him?
friends, I would eat meat or shrimp or
I don't
eggs,
know,
and I
I'm
never
not there.
do. Well, I don't.
I don't know. You went to the bathroom with a piece of
That was literally, how long ago was that? 2 years ago?
3 years.
3 years
and a
ago.
half.
So
And that was my only relapse. But before
How did
I
you
forget,
feel?
I felt fine. I don't think I liked it at all because I was so scared of I was like eating and like stuffing it down my throat. I don't think I even swallowed. But that was, whatever. I had a momentary lapse of reason.
actually, I think momentary lapse of something is not a reason.
It's a Pink Floyd
Yeah.
song, right?
Pink Floyd album. I
Yeah,
don't
Pink
know.
Floyd album. But the whole thing about lab-grown meat, I would definitely try it. Like, we could try it now, right? It's like out there in some capacity.
Wait, stop. That's making a lot of noise.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It was me.
I think it's out there now in some capacity, right?
Yeah, I think lab grown meat right now it's in the thousands. It's not
Okay, I won't have it.
it's not cheap enough yet. But it's being worked on. The price is coming down, and I really want to read up on the science behind it to make absolute sure that it's, for lack of a better word, vegan.
If no animals are being harmed, I would try it. But what Vanessa was saying earlier about how it kind of grosses her out about like eating a dead body, a carcass, whatever. I always use the word carcass. Mm-hmm. That is one of my number one reasons why I don't eat meat. I can't imagine. I'm looking at a cartoon picture of a cow and a pig right now. Like, eating a dead body is so gross to me. Ethically it's wrong. I don't want to kill animals, but it's also so nasty to me to eat another body.
John,
Of an animal that is not that different than humans, that has two eyes, that has, a lot of them have like similar appendages, right? Arms and legs, but the paws aren't, like, they have ears. They're not that different.
right. I think that the DNA on chimps is basically the 97% the same as humans, something like that.
Yeah, it's gross to me. I can't believe that, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, I was always like, I was eating, burgers every meal. I was going to steakhouses with my buddies, and, it's just gross. And looking at the blood and the bones, and
Can we revisit you eating a shish kebab in the bathroom? I'm trying. So were you sitting on the toilet in a stall? Were you hovering over the sink?
no.
Paint a picture.
John is pretty fast to eat, so he probably just opened the door and put inside the mouth and close the door again. If I know him.
Yeah, I might have even just went around the corner.
Oh, so you might not have gone into the actual bathroom where dudes are taking a shit.
I went like near the bathroom, I remember. I can't remember if I opened the door and put it in. Yeah, I wasn't in the stall like taking a poop and eating it. It was more like I just had
Eating the poop or the shish kebab?
He's eating the poop. They're eating. Moving on.
Moving on, John. So, I don't know. Actually, for me, it's about health right now too, not just animals. So, if you are like a healthy vegan, I don't think they should start eating the lab grown meat, but I would buy that for my cats, because for me it's still pretty hard the situation about the food for the cats.
Well, cats, I don't own a cat, so I wouldn't know. But if I'm not mistaken, cats have to eat meat, right?
Yeah, cats are carnivores.
Yeah.
Carnivores.
I think carnivorous is fine.
Yeah?
I think so.
I'm making jokes.
No, not this time.
Joey?
Well, no, he's right. There's carnivorous and there's carnivore. Carnivorous is an adjective.
Carnivorous.
Carnivore is a noun.
Yeah, well, this that Joey just said. So, yeah, they are. They that's the problem, of course. But, sometimes I wish they make, I don't know, food from insects for the cats or stuff like that.
That sounds awesome.
They have chocolate-covered crickets.
I could feel a little bit less bad. Like right now, to be honest, I try buy the food from shrimp. I think it's really bad to say that, but yes, because I feel less bad.
Well, I mean, they're for your cats, and they have to have meat.
I know, but still, it's still hard for me. Because you should never domesticate any of them.
You should see when an insect gets into our apartment.
Oh my God.
It's pretty funny.
It's not funny, John. I got desperate to save the insect.
Oh, Vanessa saves the insects.
Wait a minute. If I'm not mistaken, John, when there's like a roach or something, Vanessa has to rescue you.
Well, she grew up in Brazil.
What's the difference? Just
have you seen the roaches in Florida?
yeah, what you're talking about? Probably because they did not survive in Chicago. Maybe he didn't see roaches.
The roaches in Florida are bigger than my dog.
There's insects this big.
Okay.
He makes videos all the time when he's in Brazil. You see, oh my God. I remember, guys, the first time John in a summer night in Brazil. Someplace in Brazil.
Please tell me there was air conditioning.
No, there's no air conditioning in Brazil.
Oh my God.
There is in some place, not everywhere, but
We just lost our Brazilian subscribers.
the place I used to live, I didn't have air conditioning in my apartment.
Oh my God.
Well, I have like fans, good weather. Open
Fans?
the door.
That's just a warm air transference system.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's warm
water.
air. It's just warm air that's moving.
It is not like Florida, Joey. Florida
is there humidity?
hell.
I'm sure there's humidity.
Florida
in
is like
Brazil.
not everywhere, guys. That's not Florida.
Okay, like I'm sure the southern tip of Brazil, it's nice weather. But
Is that why you immigrated? Because of the no air conditioning in Brazil?
No. I could buy air conditioner. I had money for that. Stupid. So, I was a successful chemical engineer. Okay, Jonathan?
You heard Joey's laugh there? We're not even talking about bodily functions.
So stupid.
we were almost there when we got into you eating a shish kebab in the bathroom.
I have to finish that.
I'm sorry. Finish your story.
In the hot weather, at night, many of the little bugs from the jungle come say hi, and many of them didn't survive more than 24 hours.
Portuguese or English?
They only speak Portuguese all over Brazil. So they come say hi, and the cats get so entertained by them, and there's many of them.
I'm picturing a cartoon right now of these huge dancing insects and the cats that are dancing with them.
They are little. These ones.
They're not
so
little.
big.
There's nothing little in Brazil.
No, they are little. So, and I remember John was on the shower the first time he saw the bugs coming in. Because you have the lights on, they come, Yeah. Here too. I opened and
Do they have
come.
warm showers in Brazil?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
really. Oh, barely. Come on. Tell them the truth.
I think
It
someone
takes
is going
like-
to sleep in the car.
It takes like 30 minutes to
I
get
think
warm.
someone is going to
Oh,
be.
she's getting
Of
upset.
course not, John. Of course not. You are the lazy guy that leave the shower on forever. Our shower is not gas; it's electric the most. So you just have to turn a little bit longer for it start heating.
30 minutes.
There is a resistance, like a it's resistance. It's
Resistance?
called? Resistance that like warm the water that goes through the electric system and come to your shower. Okay. The problem it is, my mom, she lives in a farm and the time is really cold. So you really have to turn on and leave a little longer for the whole bathroom be cold before you remove your clothes. Okay, now I can go in. Yay!
So we're going soon. It's the summer in Brazil, so it'll be warmer.
Oh, that's right. Southern
But
Hemisphere.
but when we go, in June or July, it's the winter, and at night it definitely gets cold.
I have a question
And
for you.
we sleep sometimes in like sweaters and like four, covers,
Blankets,
and
yeah.
See, that sounds nice, actually.
it's okay.
I like the cold.
But that's kind of a warm place in Brazil. There's been times we travel. There was one time we went to, what was that area?
Campos do Jordão.
Campo do Jordão.
Campos do Jordão.
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 Beautiful place. And they call it the winter city. And people literally go there in the winter. And at night, it gets down to like,
It's like a Switzerland.
30 degrees.
Brazilian Switzerland.
Wow.
and there is no heat, Joey. Just like there's no AC, there's no heat.
There is heat.
I mean,
in some
I'm
place.
fine with no heat because
30 degrees at night? Bullshit.
well, I mean, you can okay. You can get like 7 blankets, be under 7 blankets, but
30 degrees?
You cannot.
You know,
but
your
blankets-
nose is really cold. Yeah, I mean, we figured it out.
the
can't
point I'm
go
making
over.
is that if it's cold, there's protection against cold. There isn't protection against heat. You can't take off your skin. What are you going to do?
Wait,
If
what
it's
did you say? There's no protection against your skin?
No, it's like okay. If it's cold, you can throw on more layers.
Yeah.
If it's hot, you can take off all the layers, but once you get to naked body, there's nothing left to take off except your skin.
You can't take off your skin. if
I
you
don't
want.
recommend it, but I mean, if it's
Oh, they did it in that movie. They Live?
oh my god, that
The
has
Roddy
like,
Rowdy Piper movie.
yes, it has like a 20-minute fight scene with Keith
best.
David. Yes. I remember watching it as a kid, like, these guys are still fighting. It's like half the movie is those two fighting. They're throwing each other against the dumpster. I mean, it's a legendary fight scene. Yeah.
He was he was a really good actor.
Rowdy Roddy
Surprisingly,
Piper.
right?
Yeah, he was in some pretty terrible movies. I mean, the They Live is like the one really, really great one, directed by John Carpenter, by the way.
We can
I did
move
know
on.
that.
We can
Did you
move
really?
on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our movie talk is getting shorter and shorter because
Thank God.
Vanessa moves us on quickly.
I couldn't finish my first story, guys.
What
You
story was
started
that?
about the bugs.
Oh well, let's go back to Brazil and the bugs and the non-heat.
So-
Talk about the toilet system in Brazil too. That's
Jonathan.
interesting.
Can I finish the bugs? Thank you. So he left the shower. It was like few days he was in Brazil. When he opened the door and he saw like in the living room all the bugs like dancing around the lights, and the cats trying to catch them. Oh my god!
Oh my god.
What is that? He started like screaming.
Were you really
So-
screaming?
He's screaming on that. One time he saw in my
Wait a minute,
mom's
time
house.
out. You can't end the story just yet. So you see, because is he your boyfriend at this point or your husband?
No, it was my boyfriend. And then, sometimes I was questioned like, oh my God, serious that he's freaking out because of a bug? I thought a few times.
Well, I mean, it was Brazilian bugs, according to John. I mean, they're
But-
pretty intimidating figures.
Come on, guys. It's
They're
just
as
a
big as
bug.
your head.
Come on. It's a lie. It's just because, I don't know, because John was, raised like a Northbrook.
Raised in Shermer, Illinois.
Northbrook, Illinois, the greatest city of all time. Home of John Hughes.
Yeah, with the house all the time, all closed, AC, heat, like, ooh,
Yeah. That's how Joey grew up, too.
temperature.
Do you remember Cameron's house in Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes.
Like with the
It's in Winnetka.
Well,
Oh, okay.
but Joy could be exposed to things. He
True.
chose to be a nerd and stays at home. But he could be dealing with alligators.
Actually, I beg to
You
differ.
chose to be a nerd and stayed at home. That's what she just said.
No.
Sorry.
You chose to be a nerd and stayed home.
Instead, like, go explore, fight with alligators, with iguanas, you know?
I did not choose the nerd life. The nerd life chose me.
Sorry, Joy.
You did grow up with a lot more critters down here. I mean,
They got them critters down in South Florida.
the alligators,
Y'all live
and the iguanas.
Well,
Were there so the iguanas,
iguanas are invasive.
right? I was going to ask, when you grew up as a kid, were there not that many iguanas?
There were far fewer iguanas than there are now. I mean, now when I do my run, I pass by a couple of like lakes and canals, and in the summertime especially, you just see families of iguanas.
I love them. They're so cool.
They are cool, but they're stupid. Like, I feel bad for them because it's sad because, they're trying to cross the street. I guess they don't understand that cars are coming and they're deadly. You
Yeah.
see a lot of squished iguanas on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, a chain link fence, sometimes the links in a chain link fence are a little too thin or small for an iguana to go through. And so you'll see the iguana try to go through it, and then it gets stuck there, and it ends up dying there.
Really?
Yeah, it's sad.
No one pushes it out, huh? Or tries to cut it?
Cut the iguana?
No,
cut the chain
Oh,
link.
Jesus. Okay.
Jeez.
And then there's a whole thing about when it gets cold in Florida, the 3 or 4 days where it's like
They freeze.
60. They apparently freeze in the trees and then they fall.
Oh,
But then when they fall, they don't die.
no.
They eventually unfreeze and then they just walk away like, oh, that was fun.
But it doesn't really
They
happen
never
here
die.
much, right? It happens more up north in Orlando.
No,
think it happens here, too.
Does it happen here?
Because I think
Yeah.
they're warm-blooded, or cold-blooded, I'm sorry. And so they freeze easily. And yeah, they, even in the, when the temperatures in South Florida plummet to 65 degrees for an iguana, that's actually very cold.
So, okay, non-ethical vegan Joey. How do you feel
I
about
am an ethical vegan.
how do you feel about them? How do you feel about Florida allowing people to kill iguanas?
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
don't
their
either.
fault that they're an invasive species.
Let's go back to the main subject.
Okay.
How do you feel, Joy, regarding the health vegans?
Okay, my issue with the health vegans, you're eating plant-based food, but you're wearing leather shoes, you're buying Uggs with the little fur things at the top. You're probably buying products that have been tested on animals. It's somewhat hypocritical from my perspective because I am an ethical vegan. I just don't think that health vegans can call themselves vegans. They can call themselves plant-based, but not vegans. It's two very different things. Maybe I'm getting into semantics and maybe I'm offending the health vegans. I don't mean to. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the end justifies the means. They're saving animals. That's all I
Right.
care about. That's all I care about. So I love them for that reason alone. But I wish they would go that extra mile because it's all frivolous. Leather is frivolous. Fur, that's frivolous. It doesn't take a lot to just avoid buying products that haven't been tested on animals. I'm sorry, to avoid products that have been tested on animals. I just wish they would go that extra mile, but whatever. At least they're saving animals. I mean, that's more than I could say for 98% of the world.
For me, I think when these like health vegans, the chance that they cheat is bigger. When it's just like a diet,
Yeah.
you can't just cheat a diet, but you cannot cheat your morals.
You know what? This is going pretty long, and I feel like we aren't going to end anytime soon. So let's just end it here. We'll keep the conversation going and release a part 2 of this episode next week. So I guess part 2 of this will be our Christmas episode. With that said, for Vegans Talking Shit, I'm Joey.
I'm John.
I'm Vanessa.
And we'll see you next week for our Christmas episode, which will be part 2 of this episode. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye.